Peace, YouTube. This is Fleur Room coming to you today. I know I have my sunglasses on. I'm out and about, just in the interim of doing some errands. But I wanted to come to you really quick because I wanted to discuss a particular entity that came to me that sought me out, and I know to be some sort of reptilian type of entity located. And this is what I was talking about. They're inserting these hybrids in all facets of life. They're in the higher tiers, but they're also in the hoods. They're in the lower trailer parks. They put them in there, and they're, you know, they're aggressive. They have a different propensity. It's not all, but there is a warrior type class of lower hybrid, you know, reptilian, or some, you know, some Christians would call them demonic forces that are put into our pools where we kiki with people. And I met one and it sought me out. So I figured, if you're gonna seek me out knowing that I'm in this world, then I might as well get a kind of a quick interview. Now I'm gonna do a series of interviews with other people who've had contact with some of these entities, be it reptilians and sectilians, grays, and so on, and I'll have a series of this afterwards. But this particular gentleman was what I personally believe to be a reptilian of some sort of hybrid. I sat down with him, did a sit down at another friend's house. I had an agreement that we talk. Again, he sought me out. He knew of me. He saw me, and you know, his goal was to hook up with me and perhaps have a sexual liaison with me, and that was his goal. He would have preferred that I be a willing participant, but as I'll tell you what happened, it could have gone wrong. Anyway, I met him. I knew of him. He was actually someone who was dating a friend of mine, an associate, so to speak, and this person had shown my picture to this entity, and the entity proceeded to tell them that, you know, I'm someone they want to seek out and meet up and perhaps have a liaison with. And at first, you know, upon seeing him, an image of him, I knew something was off. Obviously, I broke the code, so I knew that this entity was something other than what they claimed to be. But I was really interested to get information. I wanted the deep down, I wanted to talk and have a conversation with one of these type of entities, which usually I don't really get a chance to do. So met up late evening. I went to their location as opposed to coming to mine. Again, if you invite any of these entities in your home, just know that an invitation, you can only have a vampire or a demonic type force come into your home if invited. And I always like to say, I like to keep everything outside of my outside in the matrix, as opposed to coming into my world. So I sat down with him. Automatically you could feel his energy was really, really dense. He sat across from me, and the first thing he said to me is, "Do you believe in the devil?" To me. So listen, I don't know why he would think that was okay to say to me. I don't know why he would ask me that. And I said, well, the devil is a perception. You know, it's a state of being. It could be, you know, in your actions, your thoughts, your patterns. You know, I don't know necessarily it's an entity. I said, what do you think about the devil? And he said, well, just to let you know before we have this conversation, the devil is okay with me. Yes, he did. He said the devil was okay with him. So I kind of thought in my head, well, wow. So I say to him, what is it that you think is okay about saying that? He said, it's just what I am, what I believe. And I said, okay. I said, were you raised in a Christian household, or a household with some religious base? And he said, yes, I was raised in a Christian household. He loves his mother dearly, who's involved in that. Hold on, that's my homegirl. Hold on, I'm gonna call her back, Kim. So anyway, he said that he was raised in a Christian household. He loves his mother dearly, very protective of her. It shows you that these entities have their home base and they're protective of their kin. So anyway, he proceeds to tell me, I'm sorry, I'm out and about. You could, I never disclose my location, but you obviously, I'm a mom. I'm out in the world. So anyway, he sits comfortably with this weird smirk. He doesn't really give me eye contact. He's looking down. Now he's doing something. I don't want to really disclose too much of what's going on in the actual space we were in. This is a CD. This is somebody who's in the deep set of the hood. I'm sorry. A lot of seediness goes on to this world. I knew entering this world what it was. It is what it is. And to get this information, I would have to enter into a world that he came from, that they were comfortable in. So just imagine I was in his neck of the woods. So, he had homies outside chilling, probably waiting for the call, come in and get her. But that didn't happen. Anyway, he went further as to say, I said, well, why are you here? What is it that you are here to do? He was like, I'm here just to live. He said, I don't have a problem doing what's necessary to exist. I said, what do you know about the reptilians? Now, remember, I didn't get a preempt of how I was going to come at him and what questions I was going to ask. I just kind of like to catch people off balance so that I get more of the truth, or I could feel them out if they're telling me anything kind of off or it's not real or legitimate. There's no integrity with it. So I just kind of threw him off. I was like, what do you know about reptilians? And he just looked up. He didn't look at me eye contact this whole time. He looked up from what he was doing on the table, looked up, looked at me, said, what would you like to know? I was like, wow. I didn't get a full confession, but that in itself kind of tells me that he knows what he is. Because I always wondered if hybrids kind of knew what they were, if they kind of realized that they were something else. He had an awareness when I asked that question. I asked, does he believe in UFOs and that stuff? He said all that good stuff. Now, mind you, he had an accent. I don't want to really disclose what kind of accent, just because it might be telling. And, I would like to keep anybody that I interview, especially I'm disclosing this information and I'm not necessarily saying that to him. So if I said it to him and he said it was okay for me to disclose where he's from, what country he comes from, what kind of accent he had, I'd have no problem with it. But this was kind of just me asking questions, getting more information about these type of beings. I knew he was some sort of reptilian hybrid. I knew what I was encountering, and I didn't know if he knew or he knew what he was or what he comes from. Anyhow, I know I go off on tangents sometimes. Anyhow, I just wanted to say I'll do more about the interview. It was very short and simple. I asked a couple more questions just to get a feel of how he feels. Does he have a sense of empathy towards anything he did? What I could sense about this entity is that they are very based in their world, highly physical creatures, very impulsive. They kind of drive the matrix in the lower realms of lower frequency. I mean, this entity is not a good guy by any means. He does participate in ritual type of sex. And this is also a marker of people into the occult or those demonic beings or reptilian type of behavior. He does have orgy type sexual liaisons with more than a couple partners. That is part of his repertoire. I believe he is some form of incubus. He does feed off of the female sexual energy to be able to sustain himself. It's something that he has to do, and this is part of what he is okay talking about, being about, and living. And this is why he was okay to meet me, and why he thought that he would sexually have a chance to engage with me along with other partners, because that is part of their repertoire, very ritualistic sex. And also there's other people in this occult world that engage in orgy type of sexual behavior. That is a swapping of energies, and many go into that thinking that they're going to have some sort of sexual experience that is just mundane or just on the surface of personal personal pleasure. But what they don't realize, there's entities feeding off of their sexual energy, pretty much vampiring their energy and feeding from them unbeknown to them. And this entity has been known to do that. He partakes in that world, and I really didn't know that, to be honest. I didn't really know that in this type of entity would engage in that. I always thought it was linked to more occult, Mason type, or other occult people in religions and so on. But there is a subsidiary of entities in the lower tiers that are engaging in sexual magic, sexual incubus type of, succubus type of exchanges, and they're doing it quite regularly, and it's become mainstream with all the music, the lower vibrational music, with Nicki Minaj, all those lower toning, sexually driven, root chakra, vortex opening type of music. I think it allows for this type of sexual depravity energy to come in, these orgy type things, swapping of different energies, feeding off of people unbeknown to them, very vampiric things. So anyway, I sat with him. He couldn't stay too long. It was about 2:30 in the morning. By the time, I spoke to my friend earlier. The meeting was set up. He came maybe 2 hours after I was there. It was a very short exchange, but I felt like it was enough to get a bird's eye view of what these entities are and how they are. And let me just say, when he did look at me in his eyes, they were stone cold. And I've met many people. Obviously, I'm from, I come from New York originally, so I've seen everything. I used to take the subways. I was in Manhattan. I hung out. That's how I grew up. I went to college in the city, so I get that kind of energy. But this was a different kind of energy. I could not read his vibration. He didn't seem to have it. He almost seemed empty and without any vibration. It was almost like he was devoid of any vibration. Maybe it's just that I've never felt that. And he was stone cold. Even with a smile, I had chills go up my spine. Again, he was there thinking that if he talked with me, that he was able to, I don't know, talk me into having some sort of sexual liaison. But you know how flirting gets down. I don't get down like that. I just want to know the facts. I want to know who you are. I want to know what drives you, how are you partaking as this entity in the environment that you're in, and what are you doing? And again, a lot of these entities in the lower tiers, and when I say lower tiers, they're these hybrids are inserted into the hood and also into trailer parks. All the poor, what you consider to be more financially challenged areas. I think they drive the system, the matrix, in that way. That's what they're utilized for. They create fight, flight, and fear. This entity, is quite sure not someone who's done anything good per se. He's done a lot of harm, and I could tell by looking into those dark eyes if there's, he's engaged in activities where, people have probably been harmed. Just as my take on it. So whatever, I gave a picture of him, just his eyes, to show you what it is. And someone asked if they're contacts or not. It doesn't matter. This entity is wearing, even if they were, this picture was taken, he's never said it was contacts. I'm looking at the eyes. I've seen eyes very similar, and he has some connection to the reptilians. He kind of didn't say it per se, but he kind of was open to that being my he was okay with me thinking that. And normally no one in this world knows too much about reptilians. That's why I didn't give him a preempt. I didn't let him know I was coming to talk about it. He doesn't know I'm into ETs and UFOs. I kind of just went as a chick that he wanted to rock with. That's basically how I came. He didn't know who I was, and me asking these questions were just off the riff. And he pretty much let me know that he is something else. We should be mindful that these entities exist. You should tell people to, be careful of the kikiing with, and women out here, this is what you're having sex with, some of you. This type of entity that I'm going to show you a picture of, that I showed you before and I'm going to show you again. That entity is what you could be engaging in sexual activity, and all they're doing is drinking and draining you of your energy, because they're vampiric. These are incubus type creatures. They're feeding off of you, and all they know to do is bring fear, flight, and fornication. Okay, that's what they're here to do. That's